Kenshi is a great game. It's a hard game, or is it? A lot of people would tell you that this game is going to whoop your ass, that you can't get out of the hub before you get X amount of cats for mining copper for 48 hours and blah, 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 blah. Yes, Kenshi's pretty hard when you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know what you're doing, well, it's like taking candy from a baby. I spent the last 2 weeks neglecting my worldly responsibilities and fully immersing myself in this desert drug dealing simulator so I could save you the time and present you with the definitive guide on how to become a living god in Kenshi. Now, I just want to give a quick disclaimer here and a big shout out and thank you to FrankieWuzHere. He streams Kenshi almost every day and uploads it to his YouTube channel here on YouTube, and the guy is just a fountain of Kenshi knowledge. Almost everything I'm about to show you in this guide is a condensed version of the typical Frankie stream, and I'd highly recommend, if you have any other questions or just want to learn more about Kenshi, that you check him out. Links will be in the description. But without further ado, let's begin. Now, in order to chase the bag, we must first acquire the bag. A bit paradoxical, I know, but you know what they say about needing money to make money. What I'm talking about here is a large backpack. You need one for a couple of different reasons. One, we're going to be looting Narco's trap, and you'll need something to carry all that sweet, sweet loot. And two, it gives you massive combat penalties, which will come in handy when you're training. And three, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you're going to have to bring with you, practically everywhere you go in this game. And the large backpack is the best way to do that without moving at a glacial pace. Now, depending on where you start, your strategy for making a bit of money might be different. You're going to need a couple thousand cats, though, that's the bottom line, and then you're off and running. So if you're starting in the hub, you can make some money by heading over to this way station and proceeding to do a little trick called robbing the shit out of the skeleton doctor. Skeleton doctors don't tend to mind too much if you steal from them for some reason, and I promise you, you can just return here later and he won't even recognize you. Other ways to get this money are luring animals to the gates of a city, preferably bulls to stack if you use the Holy Nation Citizen start like I'm going to, and don't forget to heal them as well for extra first aid experience. Bandits, looting a ruin, or even
mining copper.
Now that you've secured the bag, it's time to put our plan into action. Make sure that you can buy a standard first aid kit or two, and a sleeping bag, along with some food, and then we can head out. If you've got a couple extra cats on hand, I'd really highly recommend hiring a cheap companion for 3,000 cats and giving him a few bits of dried jerky before instructing him to swim up a murky river nude into an unknown region. He'll do this without question, because in Kenshi, a few thousand cats and a bit of dried jerky are enough to buy a man's soul. Up this river will be the fabled Armor King, and you want this companion to sit in his shop and stare at the wall so that every 48 hours he can check the Armor King's new stock. What you're looking for are Masterwork Assassin's Rags, a Masterwork Tin Can, and Masterwork Samurai Leggings. If you can't get Masterwork Specialist or even, high grade, will have to do. While Hubert makes his way to the Armor King, you're getting shit done. Fill your inventory with water if you're in stack, and begin making your way over to Skinner's Room. If you're not in stack, honestly, just fill it with whatever you can get your hands on that's heavy, but don't worry too much if you can't find anything. This is just to do a bit of strength training as you head over there. Keep in mind, you won't get maximum X strength XP unless you have a body on your shoulder, so I'd highly recommend picking up one of the animals that you looted earlier and bringing it on a little joyride. A neat little trick you can do is quick save and quick load once you're some distance away from where you picked it up, and the game will still give you the full strength XP without slowing you down. Amazing, right? Thanks, Frankie. The only way you stop getting XP from this is if you pick up and drop something else, or if your character is picked up, or if you restart the game, I think. Now that you've made it to Skinner's Room, what you want to do is find one of the roving groups of 40 starving bandits that spawn here. Then, attack a bandit from about 100 meters away. He'll turn around and go, "What was that?" before quickly falling back in line while the rest assume he's just off his meds or something. At this point, you want to squat down and begin following the group quietly, unseen, like a shadow. The best time to do this is actually at day, because you're going to gain a lot more stealth XP then. We're doing this with the aim of hitting 80 stealth or more. Whatever you do not get caught here. You're not tough enough yet, and these guys will absolutely beat your ass into the dirt without remorse, and you may just find yourself dead. Once you're at 80 or more stealth, we can proceed with the next step in our master plan. The next step is to raid Narco's trap. Drop your water and any of the other heavy crap you are carrying before heading north to Narco's trap, which will be right here on the map. Now, Narco's trap is an ancient lab with arcane and highly illegal tech in Holy Nation territory, guarded by the fiercest and most fervent paladins who will... Oh, it's that easy to bypass them? Yeah, it's that easy. Come at night and sneak right here next to the gate, and there's about a 5% chance one of those Ogre Knights will spot you. Pick the lock and voila, you're in. We've just gained access to the treasure trove, baby. There are literally only 2 security spiders in this place, so with your upgraded stealth, it shouldn't be too hard to evade their line of sight. Just make sure you keep tabs on them and wherever they're walking. Work your way through this gold mine and pick up anything that's worth 2,000 or more cats for every kilogram of weight. You could do more, but just keep in mind that, we have to escape this place, so it's a bit of a pain in the ass to have the Alcronites chasing after you when you're weighed down by a metric ton of the forbidden fruit. Your goal, if you're being chased by the paladins like this, is to make it to water. Because everybody knows that once you reach water in Kenshi, the enemies, they can't swim. They can't follow you into water. They don't know what to do. They just become directionless, aimless. They forget about you. And there you go. You get into the water. They're like, fuck this. You know what? We were going to chase this guy, but we can't swim. Once you've worked your way to the top floor and looted the ancient safes, it's time to skedaddle. Whether or not you try to make your way out stealthily or by hightailing it out like there's no tomorrow, head towards good old Blister Hill. Upon arrival, the paladins there may try and search you for anything illegal, like, everything you're carrying. The trick to stopping this is dropping everything about 20 feet from the gate and pretending like, you have no idea how that got there, officer, before picking it right back up in front of them and entering the city. Here you're going to sell all of those CPUs, skeleton muscles, eyes, and pretty much anything except for the AI cores and ancient science books, since that's a big no-no and would make Papa Okron pissed. Once we've finished selling our goods at Blister Hill or any other nearby non-Holy Nation city for you Skelechads, it's time to execute Step 4. This step is going to be the longest, but bear with me. It'll also be rough for you Okronite body piercists out there, but don't worry, I'll show even the children of Okron how to circumvent the troubles they might face here. As for Skelechads, your guide to becoming limbless will be at the end of the segment. Now it's time to head to the mythical Fog Islands. This is where shit's going to get real. By the time that you leave the Fog Islands, you're going to be a whole new person. Literally. Sprint past all those dead hive fogmen until you reach this city on a hill, Mongrel, possibly one of the game's most iconic cities. Once you're here, sell off the rest of your tech and you should easily have over 100k by this point. Head over to the Skeledock and see if you can get Masterwork Scout Legs and Skeleton Arms. If you can't, just get the highest grade that you can for each. Oh my god, wow. That is probably the worst luck that we could have possibly had. Don't worry too much about selling the ancient science books and AI cores here, by the way. I'm almost positive you can actually buy these back at any time, even after the vendor's inventory refreshes. If you've healed any fallen warriors or animals in your travels now, you may have 12 Field Medic, which you're going to want for reasons I'm about to explain. If you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. This step might just take a little longer. You're going to go outside Mongrel and purposefully put yourself on a fog pole. Make sure you unlock it and have first aid set as a job. Eventually, a fog prince will come along and start eating you alive like you're some sort of juicy dumpling. Your character should heal themselves as this is going on, which is important, because you don't want to be bleeding out, believe it or not. Once your limbs pop off, immediately put on a robot limb to stop the bleeding, and if you get close to 20 or lower blood, you may have to end the voring session early and go back to Mongrel to recover a bit before coming back out there. Eventually though, you will lose all 4 of your limbs and get a pretty huge amount of toughness in the process. Slap those robot limbs on and proceed. Next, head to the weapon shop to buy Masterwork Samurai Armor, which is guaranteed unless you have some sort of mods which introduce new items, and see if they have a blueprint for your weapon of choice for this run. If you're going to use martial arts, you obviously don't need blueprints. Buy the big house and the little house in town and join the Shinobi Thieves. If you're organic, buy a fog mask from the Thieves. This will come in handy later once you finish your training. You can also buy some assassin's rags if you want, for a purpose I'm about to show you. First, set up a research bench and buy some books in the Y house. This will be to research beds and weaponsmithing, and you'll need to make a weaponsmithing bench. The reason for this is because you want to bring a rusted piece of junk to train with, since it'll penalize your stats, giving you more XP and keep your enemies alive for longer to train on. You may have to wait a bit for your weapon blueprint to get in stock, but if you can't get it, just try to get the worst quality one that you can and move on to the next step. Once you've got your fog masks, houses, and piece of rusted junk, you're going to make sure that the 2 prisoner cages on top of the Mongrel barracks are occupied. If not, go grab some unconscious fogmen from outside the gates and place them in there, and make sure they aren't dead, or the guards may remove them. Then, run into Mongrel barracks, and try to put assassin's rags on any sleeping guards and then put their crossbows into their inventory before you proceed to go full metal jacket on their asses. Put blocking and hold on, so you don't hurt anyone here. But don't forget to take blocking off as soon as you're inside the shack. Make sure you don't run anywhere close to the shinobi during this, or you might cause a fight between them and the guards. Run into your little shack and proceed to spam R and allow the guards to absolutely thrash you. Spamming R cancels blocking, and you run in circles while they proceed to obliterate you, giving you an ungodly amount of blocking XP. You want to do this up to ideally 90 block, which shouldn't take more than an in-game day or 2. Don't worry about the guards being hostile to you or any bounty that you accrue, because even once you leave here, it'll disappear after a while, and the next time that you return, they won't remember or care. As long as you don't hit anyone or worse, kill anyone, you'll be fine. As you leave Mongrel in your wake, you've been born anew. Oh, and also I didn't forget about the skillet chats. To lose your limbs, head out to the Deadlands and wear armor but no leggings to allow 2 iron spiders to tear your legs off. Then, wear leggings but no armor, and stand in the view of a turret operated by a hostile skeleton and let him shoot your arms off. Might take a while, but I can guarantee you that it works. Now that the longest step is over, the rest will be significantly shorter. Let's move on to step 5. That's right, you read that correctly. The Fogmen did a great job of making you pretty tough by forcing you to watch your limbs get eaten off, but they didn't take you the whole way. You need to be stronger. At this point, Hubert should have secured everything that you needed from the Armor King. Meet up and proceed to take everything he has on his person before abandoning his ass in the wilderness. Bye, Hubert served us well, and we are forever thankful. The fuck out of here.
Later, bitch.
We won't be needing him anymore, and he won't be needing this epic gear. Continue on your way to Skinner's Room at a comfortable pace of over 25 miles an hour thanks to your shiny new legs. And once you arrive at Skinner's Room, search again for that party of 40 starving bandits. You're going to put on that top-notch samurai armor, take off your right arm for some extra toughness XP, and proceed to allow them to beat the ever-living shit out of you. Over and over and over. Keep getting up in the middle of the group, and as each time you get up around several enemies, especially while crippled, you get staggering amounts of toughness XP. If you need to, feel free to slap down a sleeping bag and rest during this process, but try not to let your vitals get too far above 1 health. Once you've hit 90 to 95 toughness, your work, or should I say the bandits' work here, is done. The next part of the hero's journey begins. Make your way through the acid rain of the Deadlands to the quaint little cute town of Black Desert City, full of soulless automatons who will warmly greet you and congratulate you for having made the trek out there, and who are definitely not hiding anything nefarious. We're making a quick pit stop here for a couple of reasons. 1, we're going to heal here. Secondly, you're going to pick up a better weapon. And thirdly, you're going to pick up some better limbs, assuming those things are in stock. Make your way to the scrapyard to purchase or steal the highest quality weapon in your class of choice, preferably Edgewalker 3. And over at the robotics workshop, buy or steal Masterwork Scout Legs and Skeleton Arms to replace any specialist or lower quality ones you've got on. And once you've healed at the bar, that'll conclude your stay. Now it's time to mercilessly destroy entire nests of baby crabs in Howler Maze. We do this because fighting baby animals gives you the same XP as fighting adults does, and you're also going to be outnumbered by several to 1, which further boosts your XP gains. Run on over to Howler Maze at a breakneck pace and run around until you find this icon on the map. Head over there and go to work. Here you're going to see why we have samurai armor, a tin can, a rusted junk weapon, and a large backpack. All that gear gives you a massive penalty to your attack while simultaneously providing you excellent protection. The outcome is a very long fight, with pretty low damage on both sides and a ton of XP. Find another nest and keep going over and over until you hit about 60 attack and dexterity. Feel free to sleep if you need to. This is it, the final step on your path to becoming a god amongst men. This will be your last bit of training and the most satisfying. Head to this way station or to the city of Heft to pick up 4 fabric and 1 building material, in addition to the building materials that you'll need to make a small shack. Make your way here on the map to the Iron HQ, home of the skeleton bandits and their leader, Elder. And if you're a skeleton, they won't initially be hostile, but if you're an organic, this step will be a little bit more difficult just getting in. Once you're there, build a little shack with a bed in it outside of the HQ. That's where you're going to recover in between bouts with these guys. You don't need to build a shack if you're a skeleton, you can just sleep on the skeleton beds inside the HQ or the shacks outside. Head inside and run to the top floor and attack the bandits up there before running back outside and luring them all with you. Then, walk right into one of these little houses and stand on the staircase. Turn on hold and enjoy as your character begins training attack even further with incredible progress. After an in-game day or 2, you're going to hit 90 attack, and your work here is done. Make sure to leave the bandits here alive if you can, assuming that you want other recruits to train here later. But do note, you won't need any other recruits, at least for combat at this point. You are now a walking monster, capable of obliterating the likes of Catlon, Bugmaster, Estada, the Phoenix, and Igor without even breaking a sweat. Don your Edgewalker 3 blade, Assassin's Rags, and Fog Mask for optimal specs and begin your warpath. I'd recommend Googling where the Meitu version of your weapon of choice is at this point and going to hunt it down, making sure you have the best possible weapon for your character alongside armor and stats for the best results. You've done it. You're now a god amongst men, all in a few in-game weeks. The world is yours to shape, and factions will rise and fall at your whim. Congratulations if you made it this far. I'm just going to go over a few random tips in the last part of the video here that didn't really fit anywhere else. Stay tuned if you want to know how to instantly heal your robot limbs, heal on the ground, and more. Here's some random tips rapid fire. To heal robot limbs instantly, take them off, quick save, and quick load. When you put them back on, they'll be fully healed. You can ally the Holy Nation by telling Mole to eat shit. Once allied, you can even enter their cities with skeleton limbs and companions without fear of retaliation. Just don't talk to the Phoenix like that, cause he'll still get pretty pissed off. To always heal on the ground as organics, this can be bugged as a skeleton. Quick save and quick load while downed. Your guy will heal while playing dead if they were not doing that already. If an enemy patrol is coming towards you and you can't escape, try quick saving and quick loading. This often resets AI pathing and they may turn around. You can max assassination incredibly quickly by, you guessed it, quick saving and quick loading while Catlon is giving his speech. He only gives the speech roughly every 6 in-game hours and prioritizes it over fighting anybody. You can crouch behind him and spam assassination attempts and get to 80 or 90 very quickly this way. To max thievery extremely quickly, head out to the Cannibal Plains, the backpack, with an item, and also a bunch of other items that are blocking any other inventory space. And then, put that item in a chest and take it back out. The game will register that you can steal the item, but you can't actually put it in your inventory because it has a stolen tag, while the one in your inventory doesn't, so they cannot stack. This will get you to thievery in a few real-life minutes. If you've got a lot of stuff that you need to carry and you're running too slow, you can put your backpack onto a person that you're carrying. They will always count as only 30 kg, so you can effectively use them as a container without increasing your own weight. Zoom in all the way while healing, whether it be in the field or on a bed. This, for whatever reason, makes you heal quicker than if you were to be zoomed out. Similarly, whenever crossbows are not rendered, they fire much slower. You can use this to your advantage by not looking at them while fighting near them, and they will hit you much less. Another thing which goes slower when not rendered is someone being eaten alive. The last and most game-breaking tip is to know when to hit the R key. Hitting the R key resets your character by stopping whatever action they're currently doing. You can abuse this by spamming R when the enemies quicker than you are chasing you, causing them to enter combat mode while you continue running, which makes them fall behind. More useful, however, is the fact that you can use it to cancel stumble animations, and tapping it immediately after you hit an enemy will cancel the rest of your own attack animation, allowing you to immediately queue up another one. This alone makes 1v1s against enemy a breeze, even at low levels. And we've reached the end of the video. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. I just want to give another big thanks to FrankieWuzHere, as this video is essentially a condensed compendium of all the things that I learned in the last 2 weeks playing Kenshi, almost all of which came from his streams, wiki articles, or YouTube videos. Let me know again if there's anything else that you'd like to see in the comments below, and thanks again for watching.